And so pleased to be here tonight. I'll tell you, I've been in management consulting for 40 years now. Isn't that quite amazing? And I started out with the big firms. I went into my own small businesses, and I've worked collaboratively with others. And in this later stage of my career, what I've been doing is I've been capturing my area of specialty in a toolkit. And I'm really looking forward to passing that on to others, and have been doing a little bit of that over the last 15 years. But it was related to something I came upon back in 1990. I literally stumbled upon it, and it was excellence models. How many people have even heard of excellence models here? Okay, and it's very interesting when I ask that question, any audience, just a few hands go up. But just imagine this. In 1990, when excellence models were first being introduced, there I was, and I saw them, and they were definitions of the principles that describe the culture and the practices that organizations have in place that were common to high-performing organizations. The stars aligned for me. What better thing to have at your fingertips when you're a management consultant? So I worked in this area, and I studied the research, and all the research was reinforcing, and the work that I was doing was reinforcing that this provides a real formula for success. Because when you implement the practices, you develop a culture committed to excellence, and that organization goes on to achieve results across a balanced system of measurement, steadily improving results. It's pretty happy work, let me tell you. You're happy for the organization that's doing better. They're happy with the work that you're providing. And whether you're helping them with issues that they need to address, or you're helping them put a good management system in place, it's work that keeps on giving. So as I was working in this area, and I was using these excellence models, and I was attending conferences, I noticed a few things. I noticed a few big gaps. And the gaps are really quite interesting. I noticed that, number one, the work was being done with large organizations, deep pockets, big budgets, perhaps. I also noticed that in the research, all of the clients were saying they couldn't understand this, and it's challenging for them. And I was also noticing that there was this huge gap in the literature with regards to implementation guidelines. Do you know, I was at conferences where I heard people making presentations, and they said things like, you don't tell clients how to implement this, you let them figure it out for themselves. So imagine me there as a CMC, I'm thinking, that's the nature of our business, that's what we do. I thought, I've got to put some effort into addressing the gaps, and so what I did was I started working on a turnkey toolkit. And I started with a publication that took these great definitions of principles and practices, and I put that all in one place. And then I matched to that all the implementation guidelines that you use to put these practices in place. And then there's an appendix in there that talks about how you do an assessment, you do improvement planning based on that. So that kind of got things off to a good start. And so along with that, I did a workshop series that would help organizations learn more about the how-to, and an automated assessment and reporting tool, so organizations could quickly see how they measure up, and then they'd have an action-oriented plan to implement. And based on this work, also a train-the-trainer program, and there's a couple designations available with that. And the Train the Trainer program was great, because I thought, how do you populate the world with more people who know about this and can apply it to their organizations and really make a difference? So that's the work I started doing, and I found it was very interesting. I thought that I was going to get a fire burning here in Canada, but just the opposite happened. What happened was the demand was around the world. So I launched into more of an international practice, which was great, sitting on these international committees and boards. And then came the opportunity on the basis of the work I had been doing, which was different. I must say it shook things up a little bit because in this area, things hadn't changed too much for quite a while. And so I was asked to do this global research study. And it was the first ever study to capture the current state of excellence in the world. It was amazing to me that nobody had asked that question before. Nobody had done that research before. You know, we had excellence models, we had award recipients of organizations that put this in place successfully, gotten great results over the years, but no one had ever stopped and asked that question, well, what is the current state of excellence anyway? So I said, yes, I'll do that. I didn't know at the time what I was getting myself into because it's been a humongous amount of work. But that study has gone on for the last 10 years. And we've gathered a really great cross-section of organizations around the world that have been willing to fill out the self-assessment by size, industry sector, region, a lot of countries. And for the first time ever, we have got these ratings that tell us how they're doing on the principles and practices. And we've got this wealth of open-ended comments that tell us what's going on in their organizations. Of course, we've sworn to keep this all strictly confidential, so we're only reporting the aggregate results. But it's an absolute treasure chest of information because you can take a look at organizations around the world, size, type, industry sector, region, country, and you've got your pulse on the current state of excellence now, which is really interesting. And so when I think about it, I think about leaders now that know a little bit more about how their organization measures up, how it compares to others, what they need to focus on and do. And then I think about the consulting community. And we've got a number of CMCs on our team on different parts of the world, but we've got a lot of other kind of professionals as well that are very interested in this area. But for us, it gives us a view of what's going well, what needs to improve, and it informs where we might want to take action too. So I've been thinking about this, and I've been thinking, I'm getting older. I'm not going to be around for very much longer. I want to keep the momentum on this, and I thought, who better to do this than our CMCs? We've got these incredibly talented people around the world, and you know what? Our body of knowledge aligns perfectly with this. So we've got this wonderful group of professionals around the world that can take up the charge and be able to do this work very, very easily. And I can just imagine the impact that we can have helping organizations to improve their performance and strengthening what they're doing. And when that happens, you know, in any part of the world, a higher performing organization is hiring employees, they're buying goods and services, they're contributing their time and money to good causes in their community. They're trading with others. They're establishing themselves out there in the marketplace. Maybe they're even enhancing the brand of their country. And all of this trickles into resident quality of life. So it's absolutely amazing work that can be done if we can scale it and get our colleagues around the world working in this area if they wish. So that's why I titled my talk tonight, Excellence Without Borders, because I have this vision of CMCs around the world getting great results with their clients, churning out better leaders, stronger organizations, being a real force to be reckoned with. And that's why I think, yes, excellence without borders, CMCs working together to raise the bar. Thank you.